Hello everyone. It's that time of day again, all week, where I will be doing another narration for you. This one is titled, My Parents Had Strange, Strict Rules. Written by a familiar face, by the user CrimsonBayonet, under the Reddit r/nosleep. Let's begin. My name is Jack, and I was a normal young adult living in a normal world. As a child, I went to school every day. I did my homework, and on the weekends I played with my friends and often would spend the nights at their home. Now, my parents were always strict, so to speak. They had a few rules that would be considered mean or rude by most children my age, but my parents told me it was to protect us and others. Let me go over them so you know the context. Rule number 1. You are not allowed to have friends stay the night. Rule number 2. You cannot tell anyone about practices. Rule number 3. Meals made in the home, stay in the home. Rule number 4. Homework is to be done every night. Rule number 5. No TV or lights past midnight. Rule number 6. Do not play with your food. And finally, rule number 7. Never go in the basement. It's just 7 simple rules that I never understood until today. Some may find them odd, but it's something I'm used to. So to me, it was something that I thought everyone was used to. Well, we moved to a new state, and I had to make some new friends at school. One day, as I was getting ready for school and eating a simple peanut butter and jelly sandwich, I was watching TV mindlessly. It was on the news explaining some strange disappearances in the area.
Breaking news, we have a video of one of the missing children being abducted. Currently, there is no way of telling who did this, so we and the police are reaching out for any tips on this.
I remember thinking it was interesting and kind of sad. Who would just abduct children? Must be monsters. As I was thinking to myself, my dad strolled in with a smile and asked if I'd like to have burgers or steak tonight. Burgers have always been my favorite, so you can probably imagine my face lighting up when he asked. But before I could speak, I choked on my food, and I needed to drink some milk that I had in my cup. So, burgers tonight, son? No problem. I'll head to the store after work and get some buns. I love you, son. Have a great day at school. After I caught my breath, I ran to him and hugged him. As he was leaving, Mom came downstairs and kissed him before he left. Never packed lunch. I just ate the school lunches. Today was special. It was pizza. The pizza at my school was always served in little squares, but they were fire. Mum looked at me and asked if I was ready for school. So I grabbed my backpack, finished my milk, and headed out the door. We got to school and sat in the car parking lot just before going in. Jackie, I understand moving has been tough on you, but I appreciate you understanding it. Making new friends is never easy, and I'm so glad you have a friend group so early. I'm so proud of you, son. She cracked a soft, motherly smile at me. It was warm and loving, which is something my mum was always good at showing affection for. Thanks, Mum. I love you. I hugged Mum and promptly jumped out of the car, ran to school. That day, my friend Derek and I met at lunch and talked about how weird and scary it was that one of our classmates went missing. Jack, I know you watch the news every morning, but did you see Mary on the news today? There was a video of her just being snatched up and the guy just drove off. It was so fast. He looked worried, but then again, I felt everyone at the school was doing the same thing, because it's all we could hear at lunch. Yeah, it's so surreal. I never thought something like this could happen to us, I said, clearly shaken up. I remember being on the edge all day, but felt lucky that my mother was always there to pick me up when I got out of school. After lunch, my school held a mandatory assembly. The principal was in the middle of the gym with a mic and a script that he wrote. Hey kids, with the news of what's been happening, we felt it necessary to speak about this. As we all know, Mary was abducted shortly after leaving school. And I know you're all worried. So we will go over some very helpful tips and start enacting a buddy system with everyone who walks to and from school. They went over the obvious: never accept gifts from strangers and always be vigilant about what's going on around you. They were so worried that they even upped security around town. It was as if the whole city was on high alert, and they had every right to be. Everyone was silent and somber, letting the principal talk. Mary was a sweet girl who was nice to everyone. I couldn't imagine the type of person who would exploit that. After assembly, all the walkers were assigned a buddy and given emergency buttons, which is a small necklace that had a button that instantly alerted the police if something bad was happening. I think everyone saw pushing this button as a prank to be in bad taste, as we never had a false alarm. After the assembly, my next class was social studies, where I was with my friend Derek, and we were doing a project together in which we had to do a presentation on someone important in the advancement of humanity in one way or another. Well, we chose to do a project on Mary Curie and her life. Without her, we wouldn't have x-rays or even be as advanced in radiology as we are today. I'm getting off track, sorry. I'm just really passionate about this subject. It has no real relevance other than it was the last class of the day. After that class, Derek got with his walking buddy and smiled at me. I saw the pain on his face as he was scared, so I gave him a quick hug and told him, "You'll be okay, man. I trust the system. If you need anything, just call me, okay?" He smiled, told me he fully charged his phone and would call me when he got home. Well, I got in the car with Mom, and she asked me how my day was, so I told her. Well, kinda scary and depressing. Mary was confirmed to be the missing girl, and we held an assembly to tell us the importance of staying together and reporting strange behavior. My mom sensed I was shaken up by all of this and instantly leaned in to hug me. I hugged her softly and cried in her arms. I never cried before, but something just hit me now on how dangerous this world really was. "Hey there, son. It'll be okay. I will make sure nothing will ever happen to you. How about we get some McDonald's, buddy?" I wiped the tears from my eyes and sniffed, then nodded my head. We got our food and ate in the parking lot. Mom was always a bit antisocial, but she was always smiling and joking around me. She had a really good way of hiding fear and pain from me. Looking back, she did that a lot. I got home and I was working on my homework when Dad walked in and placed his hat and keys on the key holder next to the door. He came up to me and hugged me. Mom came down the stairs and kissed him, and they proceeded to go to their room. Later that night, my dad went into the basement to grab us some burger meat, came back up with a little bit of blood on him and a pound of ground beef. "Oh, honey, you got a little bit of blood on your shirt. Go change, and I'll bleach it." My mother told my dad he changed his shirts into something more casual. It was a Hawaiian shirt, the ones you see in Magnum PI. Anyway, he was grilling the burgers when I got a call from my friend's mom. "Have you seen Derek? He left to go to the gas station after school, and I haven't seen or heard from him since." No, I haven't, Mrs. Jill. I'm sorry. This has me a bit worried too, because he was supposed to call me when he got home. I'll call around and see if anyone was hanging out with him. Thanks, Jack. I appreciate it. Keep me updated. She hung up, and I proceeded to try calling him. After 3 rings, he picked up. Hey, man, what's up? Hey, Derek. Your mother called asking if you were okay. Are you at the gas station? Also, why didn't you answer her call? Oh, man, I'm with Pamela, and I don't want her to know we have a relationship. You know how controlling she is. Let her know I'm with Eric and my phone died. Alright, man. Just call me later, alright, bro? So we can party up and play some COD. Will do, man. He hung up, and I called his mom, explaining that he was with Eric, and that his phone had died. She sounded much more relieved, but I can understand the stress. By the time I got off the phone, Dad walked in and handed me a plate with a smile. My dad was a part-time butcher and chef for Michelin star food trucks. His food was always amazing, and I was grateful for what he made. And this burger was very juicy and soft, but fully cooked. Me. Wow, Dad, you outdid yourself. Dad. Thanks, champ. Pineapple works wonders on softening meat. Mom. Yeah, honey, it shows. Later that night, I was playing Modern Warfare 2 with the boys, and it hit me. Derek never called. I got off the game and tried to call him, and it went straight to voicemail. I kept calling him over and over and over. About the 10th time, I left him a voicemail and gave up. That night, it was hard to sleep since I kept thinking about if Derek was okay. The next morning, I was watching the news, as I usually do, and I heard something that made my heart sink into my stomach.
Last night, another child went missing, on his way back from a friend's house. We don't have any footage, but the police have found his phone and are asking for any potential witnesses about his disappearance. The mother and community are devastated.
I saw the phone. It was Derek's. I know since he had a personalized case with his favorite anime on it, which at the time was Naruto. I welled up and started to cry. Desperately tried calling his mom, but she didn't pick up. Moments later, I get 3 loud bangs on the door. Mom went downstairs to answer, and it was the police. Mom called me over and asked me what happened last night to Derek and if I had heard anything. No. He was hanging out at Pamela's house and was supposed to call me when he got home so we could play some COD together, but he never did. The police thanked me and walked away. My mother instantly hugged me and asked if I wanted to stay home today. I nodded my head yes, as the stress of possibly losing a friend was too much for me. That day I was in my room worrying and crying. He meant so much to me since he and I were friends on the first day I moved to that city. We were inseparable. We did everything together and even got all the same classes. Minutes became hours, time flew by, and before I realized it was time for me to go to bed. As I lay in bed awake, still broken by this whole situation, I could hear sounds coming from beneath me. It was kind of like crying, but softer. I'm just hearing things. Nothing can be in our basement. I tried to convince myself whilst rubbing my arm. It kept going, and the curiosity came over me. I grabbed my phone to use as a flashlight. I got to the basement door, which had a deadbolt on the top of it. I unlocked it and slowly turned the doorknob. I opened the door. The stairs leading down the basement were darker than anything I'd seen before. I slowly walked down the step and was careful not to make the stairs creak. The further and further I went, the louder the moaning sound got. When I got to the base of the stairs and touched the concrete floor, I noticed how cold it was down there. I understand my father's job is to make food, so he kept most of his ingredients here. I looked around for a switch and I finally found it. I flicked on the lights and I was horrified. There was Derek, tied up, barely awake. He had a gag on his mouth, and the beeper he had was on the table next to him. I instantly went to release him, but before I could even touch him, I looked at my left and saw a body. Well, what was left of the body hanging from a hook. It was a small body, and female. The head was missing, the rib cage was wide open. Parts of the body were missing like the legs and arms. I looked at the table and noticed there was her hand in the meat grinder, and it still had bits of her flesh on it. I got queasy and my vision started to blur. I was a cannibal, and I couldn't believe it. It was then I heard something that snapped me out of my daze. It was my father calling my name out. Jack, you shouldn't be down here. We have rules for a reason, son. He was walking down the stairs with a butcher knife and bloodlust in his eyes. I slowly backed up to the table behind me and slowly grabbed the emergency button before he could see me grab it. He got to the base of the stairs and walked to my friend Derek and stood in front of him. Son, in life, there are rules set in place to keep bad things from happening, and if those rules are broken, there are severe consequences. He played with his knife and slowly looked at it intently. I pressed the button quietly in my pocket. You see, sometimes the best lessons are the hardest, boy. Friends are temporary, but family. He swung the knife down into Derek's head, splitting it with a sickening crack, and blood sprayed into the air in a fine mist. I collapsed to the ground, begging my father to stop. I was crying so much that I couldn't breathe. Get up, son. You have to understand this is for your best. Mom and I wanted to break this to you soon anyway, so you have to get over it. This is how our family has eaten for centuries. I could hear my mother walk down the stairs. She just stood there with a blank expression, showing slight disappointment. As I was crying, my mother came by to comfort me, but it felt fake for the first time. I pushed her off and tried to run up the stairs, but my father threw a knife into my leg. Son, if you cannot comply, we will simply have to do to you what we did to your friend. We can always just move, change our names, make a new kid. We have done it before. You were born many times. My father walked up the stairs to me and pulled the knife out of my leg. Something came over me and I kicked him as hard as I could, which sent him tumbling down to the ground. He let out a cry of pain. Mum rushed to him to check on him, but I didn't take any chances. I crawled up the stairs as fast as possible. I got to the door and my mum yelled, "Get back here now, mister, or you will be in big trouble." I looked down at the stairs, sweating and breathing heavily. I said one thing: "Fuck you," as I slammed the door and deadbolted it. She rushed up the stairs and started banging on it, telling me to open the door. Moments later, I could hear police sirens blaring in the background. They questioned me for hours, pulled my father out of the basement with handcuffs. Where was Mom? She's still down there. She has to be. Son, your dad and Derek are all we found. We searched the whole basement and didn't find her. I was put under witness protection and moved out of state into a loving family. I've been a vegan ever since. I cannot stand the sight of meat. For me, I can't tell what was worse, that I was a cannibal or that I liked the taste of human flesh. Life has been smooth since then, though. I got a new job, and a new girlfriend, Jamie, and a new boyfriend, Thomas. They make me so happy. The reason why I wanted to tell the world is that because yesterday I got a letter in the mail that says this. Dear Jack, I miss you, son. I know we left off on bad terms. However, your father died in prison a week ago. So I wanted to check in on you and make sure you're eating well and are happy. Love, Mom. The creepiest thing is, I just moved again with my significant others across the country, and the letter was hand delivered. I don't want to be here anymore. Please like and subscribe for more videos. Truly, thank you for your time. Now, have a good night.